Hello, this is High Templar with a new episode of my Total War Warhammer The Realm of the Wood Elves news. So there was a stream on Twitch, on the Total War official Twitch channel today, and I have a lot of information for you, a lot of screenshots to analyze. But I have to start with a bit of confusion, because on the Total War official Twitter here, we are live tuning for the Total War official Twitch. Lionheart takes over the Grand Riddle campaign. And the Lionheart is one of the most known YouTubers of Total War. And if you haven't heard about him, check him out. But the stream was actually not him, not the Grand Riddle campaign. The stream was actually the Wood Elves campaign, and that's why I want to show you what was actually on the stream, and apologize for releasing this video 4 hours later than it should be, because, you know, I didn't know it was actually the Wood Elves video. Anyhow, so the starting screen pretty much the same as before, but we know that the Hounds of Orion is actually a powerful battle ability. We didn't knew that before. I mean, I suspected it is pretty awesome, but, you know, it's best to know. But we actually know every information there is, just the screen is very nice. And so is the faction selection screen. But you've seen that already, and the map campaign also. I just, you know, have to show it to you, because it looks amazing, and those flags and everything else here. The Aten Loren was improved a lot. So here, this is a very important information from the very beginning. This is your standard explaining of what the Amber is. However, the Amber is produced each time the settlement is occupied, a quest battle is completed, or whenever military alliance is forged. Occupying a major settlement will provide more Amber than through an alliance. So, taking it will give you more Amber than allying with those guys. And yeah, another very nice piece of information is here. In multiplayer campaign, the Amber is not received from the treaties between the human factions. And this is also very nice, because if I have a quickly spanning empire and my friend is Wood Elves, I would give him tons of Amber. I mean tons of Amber, speeding his development considerably. And this is very nice balancing touch. For the Orion, this is how he starts. We've seen his stats and everything else when he is already quite some into the campaign in the previous Let's Play that I've covered, but here he is still amazing when it comes to actually fighting, with his melee skill and defense skill and weapon strength of 490 armor piercing, but his range abilities are not so great. Only 183 armor piercing damage, only 140 range. Although I believe that was increased from 100, I might be wrong, but I thought it's 100. Well, never mind. What is important that he only starts with single trait, the King of the Woods. You've seen that trait before, I showed it to you, but it's pretty amazing, but this is how he starts. Then, through his abilities, we actually know all of it already. I just wanted to point out how awesome is Sight Beyond Sight, and also I will show you how it works on the hero. I might have not noticed that or not said that in my previous stream, but it's a lot easier to get this skill on your range heroes instead of your lords, which, you know, it will take some time. You have to put 5 skill points in previous group, mind you 5, not 4, as it was before. So very important. Then we have something that is kinda important, at least for me. You've seen me looking at those skills for the lords from the Wood Elves campaign, and the Violent Delights and Impenetrable Bark Level 1 they will give you plus 10 weapon damage and armor respectively. And normally if you get any skill from your lord from the other factions right now, you would notice that this is not a steady growth, not really in incremental growth. It's raising, like it's giving like plus 3 and then plus 7 and then plus 15. So the first one is pretty small and the last one is pretty large. It makes sense to fill out those 3 to maximum basically. Now they changed it, at least for those 2 skills. I mean, I haven't seen the Violent Delights, but I'm pretty sure it's no more than 30% damage buff. So yeah, and Impenetrable Bark was giving plus 10 and on the max is giving plus 30, so the middle one is probably plus 20. So this is important because they might actually change it for every other lord, and that would make quite interesting balancing. It would give you more flexibility of picking some different skills. And I like that idea very, very much. Then we have one of the items that we haven't seen in previous stream, or I believe I haven't actually screenshotted it. That's the Spear of Kuronos. And this actually quest battle only begins at rank 18, but it gives you plus 10 missile damage and some recruitment cost buff and some income from post-battle loot. But it also gives you ability of Spear of Kuronos, which is another magic missile, and you cannot have too many of those. I mean, with all the skills, Orion will be pretty powerful. He can do those Hands of Orion and the Spear of Kuronos and everything else, and it doesn't actually even take any Winds of Magic from you, so this is amazing. Also wanted to point out Assyrian Commands is a must take, because plus 5% damage to all your forces is pretty overpowered. And this is how the map looks like when you start the game. So you have a Kinglade and the Oak of Ages. These are 2 guys who are, like other Wood Elves, they are friendly. And this is Durtu domain. And you actually start at war with those guys, Carcassonne, which is pretty big. I mean, you have to take them out very, very soon. Then something interesting here. This is actually Talslin. This is your standard settlement. This is not Oak of Ages, and we see that actually your main buildings not only require amber, not much, but still it does require amber. But interestingly so, it actually unlocks, the next level unlocks 2 slots. So you pay 1 amber and you are getting 2 more slots, not 1 more slot. But you have to pay for it, and it gives some income, but nothing great, some growth. And it actually allow you to unlock the recruitment of the Glade Guards. So you won't have to build another building to get those guys, and the Glade Guards are pretty decent. I mean, they are more than decent, they are amazing when it comes to the range units in comparison to what we have so far. Also, pretty significant garrison, 2 Dryads, 2 Eternal Guards, 1 Wildwood Rangers, and they are very elite, and 1 Freeman, which is also very elite, 2 Glade Guards and 1 Deepwood Scouts, and Deepwood Scouts are also very, very nice. Some of the texts that are new, or at least I think I haven't actually captured them in the previous one. So this one actually, you don't have to spend any amber for this tech, and it gives you more ammunition and more armor, plus 20% for your elf infantry and cavalry units. So this is pretty big because, elves don't have that much armor, plus 20% with some additional skills that you have on your lord might actually be plus 12. And this is pretty nice, bringing your armor from 60 all the way to 75. So yeah, that's actually something worth mentioning. Then we have this. This is actually giving us, also don't have to pay armor, income from all the buildings plus 5%, must take obviously. This one we haven't seen. It's very very powerful in the late game, or if you are going against, you know, Chaos or the Vampire counts, and it's actually increase your relationships with greenskins. So immunity to attrition for all forces, very nice, I like it. This one was also interesting, enemy siege holdout time minus 4%. I do like the idea because sieges are very long in Warhammer, and I really would like for them to be shortened, and this actually, I mean, probably it won't make me consider actually not fighting but starving them to death, but it is something nice of an addition, at least for some players. I'm playing very aggressively, so I'm never doing something like that, just taking the settlement at turn 2 tops. Now we have this one. This one is actually cost 2 ambers and gives you Winds of Magic, Power Reserve plus 20%. Obviously Wood Elves as the Beastmen are relying heavily on magic, and this is very nice indeed for the later game. I mean, obviously if you do have that amber to spend. Here we have another skill that is actually very nice, and you don't have to spend amber for it. I mean, skill attack, weapon strength for all elf infantry, and melee attack plus 5 for all elf infantry. Very nice indeed. However, not as powerful as some of the skills, some of the attacks for the beastmen, for example, when they have this plus 15 melee attack or plus 10 melee attack for the Ungors. Obviously, the elf infantry would include Wildwood Rangers, but they still have a pretty significant melee attack already. But nice to have nonetheless. And finally, something you have to take when you are fighting with Durtu. So charge bonus plus 10% for Dryad Trickins and 3-man units, and recruitment minus 5% for Dryad. Nothing very powerful here. And this is campaign movement range plus 10%. That's amazing. You have to have Temple of Kuronos for this one, but still amazing. And those hero recruit rank plus 2 for branch rights, very nice indeed. And finally, Assyrian Creator. So diplomatic relations with dwarves plus 40%, but the construction cost for all buildings minus 40%, and look at that, income from all buildings plus 20%. That is huge. That is huge. And if you want to go in the path of this, getting military alliance with everyone to get this amber, this is something you absolutely have to take. Diplomatic relations plus 30 with all factions. That's amazing. And this one is the last skill from the no-number ones. Gives you plus 10% leadership, plus 10 leadership in forest battles, plus 10% speed, and plus units experience for all recruits. I like it. It's not super overpowered, but I like it. And finally, this one is also that one is also pretty big, and it also doesn't actually cost you any amber, and it gives casualty replenishment rate plus 20%. Now mind you, plus 20%, it's not plus 20% from what it used to be casualty replenishment rate, but from basically what you have lost plus 20%. So that makes you able to regenerate in pretty much like 4 turns from the almost complete death, or even 3 turns. That is very powerful skill and must not be overlooked. I mean tech, sorry. And finally this one, I don't really like it, but I guess if you are far away in the campaign and you can only recruit units in Atellorren, getting them right away in the global recruitment would be also something nice to have. And this one I don't really understand. I mean, yeah, global recruitment capacity plus 4, but is it worth 1 amber? I don't think so. I mean, it gives you certain strategic advantage, and quite a big one at that, and you can save a lot of money, because you won't be recruiting units for 3 turns. You will be getting them on 1 turn and you won't have to pay upkeep. But is it worth 1 amber? I'm doubtful. Then we have something very interesting in the buildings here. I have looked at those buildings, and mind you, you have only 3 levels of it, but the first level of the grape wines is actually generating income of 800. And that's pretty big, considering you can probably build it everywhere, in every settlement in Atellorren. Yes, you won't be able to actually, get any economic buildings anywhere except Atellorren, so this is very nice to have. However, at the beginning of the game, it will give you quite some advantage over most of your enemies, because your income will be much higher than theirs. In the later game, yes, they will be higher, but at the beginning, this is very nice building. Here we have something like Trapper's Den, some force, some growth, some replenishment rate, pretty much a standard building. I just want to make sure I am showing you what you need to know, basically, because I do believe both of those buildings will be a staple of you, because you need to pick up that growth in Atellorren as fast as possible. So yes, I do recommend building that one. Expanding Atellorren at the very beginning is important. And then we have the Glade Guard Hide. And this one actually, because you are getting already Glade Guards from your first building, this one actually gives you the Glade Guard with Starfire Shafts and Hackbane Tips. Hackbane Tips are the poison one, and Starfire Shafts are the fire one. So again, very nice indeed. And then we have one that unlocks Eternal Guard and Eternal Guard with shields, but that actually require you to build a forge also. I can see we have I can actually not make out any of those buildings very well, but this is as I expected, and if you've seen my speculation video, you would know that I pretty much expected this one. So the Dryads, the Treekin and the Branchright and the Treemen in here as a last level, and also cavalry units with the Sister of the Horn, of the Thorn at the very end. This is, I believe that would be a dragon, and this would be Warhawks and the Eagles. And one building chain for the melee units, one for the range units. Pretty much a standard. Here we have Eternal Guards with shields, and they are actually, as expected, only slightly more powerful than Eternal Guards without them, but still you should probably have them, and I will show you. And their upkeep is only 138. Yes, they have less men, but they do have armor piercing, damage and bonus versus large, so they are pretty amazing. Only 40 armor though, that would be a huge issue. I know, better than the Spearmen, but the Spearmen of the Empire or the Bretonnia are way cheaper. Finally we have those Glade Guard Hackbane tips, so you have both magical damage and the poison, which is very nice indeed. Magical will be the ammo. I'm wondering if they will be actually killing the ethereal units in very fast way. So those guys, very nice unit indeed, good range, very good range, very nice damage. And the Starfire shafts, as you can see, yeah, actually this is very interesting because it seems that, the Hackbane tips gives you poison damage, but the Starfire shafts not only gives you fire damage, but also gives you armor piercing. And being able to have an armor piercing missile at this level is very nice indeed. However, we will have armor piercing missiles very soon also, so don't worry about that. Here we have your basic upkeep for the units. Because I just showed you a Glaive Guard, so pretty much the same but without magic and the poison. And they cost 124 and they are 60 of them in the large units. So there will be 80 of them in Ultra. Pretty much the same as Dwarves, pretty much as I expected. And what is however interesting is that the upgraded versions of those guys are actually, there is less of them, there is only 45 of them. And this is pretty interesting indeed. Also we can see that the Warhawk Riders, there is 18 of them, so on Ultra there will be 24. And I expected for them to be only 4. I mean, in my speculation video I told that they will be around 12 or 24. And that would be a good decision in my opinion, and they are great, don't get me wrong. But 24 is better, 18 on large, 24 is better. But I've made an assumption watching the trailer that there is only 4 of them, which would be pretty low. A quick screen of who is starting at war with, obviously all the Beastmen and the Carcassonne. And the Carcassonne, as you can see, 2 settlements, and they do have a number that we can take already. And the Jagged Horn Trident is starting the war with 2 of the elf factions, so they are going down pretty quickly indeed. Deepwood Scouts, this is what I wanted to show you. So Deepwood Scouts are amazing elite units. I mean, they are better than Glaive Guards, but there is only 45 of them. They do more missile damage, but their range is only 140 compared to 160 of the Glaive Guard. They do have quite some ammo. They have amazing speed, but they have something called Master Ambushers. What that means is, actually I don't have a screenshot, but I will have later on. They have fire while moving, and they have firing arc of 360. So they are amazing. They are amazing indeed. They can run away and shoot at you, and this is how I would play my elves. Then we have your Glade Riders, with the Forest Stalker, Damage Dealer, Vanguard Deployment and Frenzy, 45 of them, so standard unit size. Have a nice charge bonus of 46, have a very nice speed of 92, nice leadership, low armor but it's quite decent, and pretty decent weapon strength of 42. So for the melee cav, they are pretty amazing, only 110 upkeep. It is amazing cav, it really is. And this is what I want to show you, Warhawk Riders. They are a bit low on the health side, but they are flying. Actually, you have to spend amber on them, which is surprising because those guys are elves. I mean, yeah, being the Warhawks wouldn't be, but those guys are elves. They are dealing missile damage of 38, means basically they would deal similar damage to the Deepwood Scouts. Bit less, but similar. But their upkeep is obviously much higher. Still, a nice option to have. At the start of this, when I was looking at them, I was thinking they will not be very strong because they are versatile. They are flying, they can attack the units, attack the other units, they can... I do believe they can shoot on the run, obviously. If they have a 360 firing arc, that would be pretty overpowered because they could be shooting at the enemy flyer units while running away of them, and they have speed of 119, so there is not many units that will be able to catch them, but I don't believe this is the case. I do believe they have to be facing the enemy to shoot. And finally we have Way Watchers. So the Way Watchers are pretty much the most elite units here for the range units, and you can see that for the upkeep price of 270 they deal 23 missile armor piercing damage, they do range of 160, and they still have master ambushers with 130 arc of fire and shoot while moving. So yeah, what's not to like? And they can fire from... They can be hidden and fire, I believe. Or is it only the hero? Actually, we don't know that yet. And those guys... yeah, this is resilience. Resilience is what I want. This is what I wanted to show you. Resilience is actually basically being immune to attrition of Athelloren Forest. So all your elf units, all your 3 spirits units will have that resilience, and that's nothing great. And here the master ambushers is explained. They can move while hidden on any terrain, and they can fire in any direction, even while moving. So yeah, that's what I mean. They are amazing, and these are those Deepwood Scouts. So a very, very, very nice unit, and they can shoot from the cover. So yeah, like I mentioned before, fire while moving. Then we have Durtu. Durtu stats are revealed, and I like what I'm seeing. Firstly, his health is on par with other 3 men, so 6000 almost. Armor of 100, the same as other 3 men, but his melee attack and defense are much greater, and I like it. 65 and 50, he is very powerful lord, and with 430 melee attack, armor piercing and 40 charge bonus, I like him already. He does have charge defense versus large, he does have causing fear and terror, he has some abilities already, some spells, and he has physical resistance of 20%. Mind you, this is a guy who has 6000 health and have physical resistance, and if you see icon next to it, he also have missile resistance. So he is amazing. However, there is one snag. Fire weakness minus 40%. That's pretty bad. He is also a siege attacker, so quite obviously he can just plow through any gate. He does have a Blessing of Ancients, which is improving his power recharge rate, which is very nice indeed, especially he is a caster already. He has a Frenzy, which was buffed later in the last patch, so even more powerful, and he has Lamentation of Despair, which is magic missile, which this is not from the Beastman lore, so this seemed to be his personal magic missile skill, pretty much the same as some skills for the Orion. It is, however, magic missile that is casted on very low range of 80 meters, but it is armor piercing. It is armor piercing. Alright, so very powerful Durtu, I can't wait to play him. In the comparison, this guy has also some nice skills. He has one skill that the Durtu doesn't have, and this is Durtu Leadership 90, but the Orion is actually unbreakable. He still does have missile resistance and the causing fear and terror, and his signature attacks of the Hounds of Orion. This is just some of the... Actually, when I seen this Let's Play, I've seen lots and lots of events. This is one of such events. Some leadership and melee attack bonus, but there was lots of such events and most of them were positive. So it seems that the Elves will have quite a boost when it comes to those. On the second level of your standard, on your main building tree, as you can see, growth plus 25 plus from plus 20 grants additional construction slots and 20 more income. Nothing great here, but the garrison provided is quite substantial, as you can see, with Dryads, Glade Riders, Eternal Guards, Wildwood Rangers, Treemen, Deepwood Scouts and the Glade Guards. But it does cost 1 amber. Here we have your Treemen. So as I've mentioned before, Ancient Treemen as compared to Durtu has a lot more melee attack defense and lot more weapon strength and armor piercing, more weapon strength, but his health is similar, 300 more but similar, and the same armor. So yeah, Ancient Treemen's actually upkeep seems pretty crazy, 360 compared to 225 for the Glade Lord. And I do believe you should pick Glade Lords because if you are playing Orion, you have to fill your council. And to fill your council, you have to play Glade Lords. What's that? That is some of the already upgraded things in the King's Glades, as you can see. And we also have these buildings. These buildings is actually pretty nice. It gives you plus 20 income from the grapevines, which was 400, but it gives that bonus to all regions in adjacent provinces. So if you build those anywhere around you, in your standard province and in your basic settlements around it, you can get quite substantial boost. And if you build those barrels in each 4 of the settlements, and you can get even level 2 here, I do believe you can get your money quite high. If that was plus 20% and that is plus 40, let's say, and you build 4 of those, that will be plus 160 buff to the wines, which gives you 800 gold each. So now they will give you, I mean, almost 2000, if not 2000. So yeah, actually more than 2000. So a must-have, in my opinion. And this is something I want to show you about the Amber. So your faction will gain, this is part when they actually burn down one of the minor settlements, and it says that you get 1 amber for minor settlements and 2 amber for the walled province capital. And I'm confused about that because in the previous stream when they were showing Clan Angrund, they showed that they were getting 2 amber from the main settlement of the clan Angrund. But at the same time they told us that you are getting more from those settlements. Possibly I was wrong, and possibly you will be getting only 1 amber from those walled settlements for the province capitals, and if you are military alliance, and only get 2 if you are actually taking it. But still, nice to know, because if the faction you are allying do not have province capital, it would be nice to just make an ally out of them and not fight them. Arrow of Kuronos is another magic missile that is available for your ranged hero units, and with all these skills that we have, it's starting to look like the micromanagement for the Wood Elf army is very heavy. I mean, you have lots of skills for the Orion, and you have, at least for the Waystalkers, possibly 1 or 2 different skills, because we also have Prey of Ataf Rima, and I'm not sure if it's working all the time. It's possible you have to activate it. So you'll have a lot of skills that will require your activation. However, the Arrow of Kuronos is amazing. It does armor piercing damage, and it has a range of 350. So this one makes a Waystalker a pretty powerful. If he can target it at enemy lords, well, that would be very, very nice. Here we have some stats for War Dancers, and War Dancers, as I expected, there will be only 80 of them on ultra size, large size, as you can see 60. Their armor is 15, leadership 70, which is a bit surprising. They have a melee attack of 49, defense of 34, weapon strength of 40, and charge bonus of 22. They do have physical resistance, so they might be actually not as bad, but we will have to see what are the actual abilities like this one, because from the stats themselves, War Dancers seem to be pretty weak. Then we have, for some other buildings here, we have the Forge right here, which I was mentioning when we are talking about Eternal Gods with shields. Here we have some, obviously some range building, and here we have a building that will allow you to recruit Spellsingers. And you have 3 versions of them. I would assume Lord of the Wild, Lord of the Life, and Lord of Shadow. And the Spellsingers, yeah, pretty much what you would expect. Block army, assault unit, assassinate, cleanse corruption, nothing really great in particular. The Dryads are surprisingly expensive to upkeep, 138. They do have normal stats. Their health is on the low side, that is for sure. But they are pretty fast. They have a decent melee attack and decent melee damage and weapon strength, but I would not call them powerful. Not at all. It seems that actually the Eternal Guards are more powerful than them, and quite substantially at that. We also have here Glade Riders with Hagbane tips, so this is your range cavalry, and this will be apparently your first cavalry that you will get in this game. And those guys deal some magical damage, some missile damage, some poison damage at the same time, and their range is actually quite decent. And there is still 45 of them, so it's the same as, say, Deepwood Scouts. But the upkeep is 182, so you have to bear that in mind. Only 15 armor, pretty nice speed of 95, so that's even more than it was before. and Medicore melee attack and weapon strength. Also some screenshots from the map itself. It does look amazing, and we can see those ward stones right here. Here we have your treeman, and this is your basic treeman which with Awakening of the Woods, which is explosion. This is explosion that I've already talked about, but I cannot make it, you know, you have to focus on that. It gives you speed of -48. So it's large explosion area, causes magical damage and will make your enemies move slower. That's not something you can pass on. However, this is a spell already. So this is a Lore of Life, and let's go through the Lore of Life spells in detail. We have a Life Bloom. So this is an interesting ability. This is actually a passive ability. It type is Augment of the Winds, but I don't really know what that means. What I do know is that this is a map-wide regeneration or healing, if you will, that is working for 10 seconds after each casting. So what that means, you are casting a spell, ability recharge, and for 10 seconds every unit you have will heal. And that is pretty amazing, considering you will have also additional sources of healing, like Earthblood, which is the next spell. It only bears a question whether you will have a double healing from that, but that's not really a point. What I do want to say is that you casting any other spell with this guy, and after this you are getting healing for every unit you have. And I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure it's not so powerful, but even if it is not very powerful, it will be super amazing. I mean, so far we only had healing for the vampire counts. And then the Earthblood. The Earthblood is very simply your standard healing spell. It gives replenishment for the combatants. The range is 200 meters, so you are casting it on the ground or on a unit 200 meters away, and every unit you have in the range of 30 meters from the epicenter will be healed, and this is healing for 14 seconds. Only 8 mana, and this is already an area spell, costing only 8 mana for healing pretty much everything. So I do believe it will be stronger than Invocation of the Hag. So that's amazing, that's great, that's something we should really do. What else? Then we have Shield of Thorns, which is your basic buff, and this is against works on every ally in the range of 45 meters, so this is pretty substantial, buffing them both weapon damage and missile resistance, which is useful if you are fighting for example other elves. And then finally we have Flesh to Stone, which gives us plus 30%, plus 30, not percent, plus 30 flat armor, which is very useful for the elves, and I'm hoping when overcasting it's actually working on the wider area, although that might be a bit overpowered. Then we have the Regrowth. Regrowth is, well, surprise, replenishment hit points of combatant as plus 22% of physical resistance. However, you can only cast it on single ally, and I don't feel there will be overcasted version of this one, and if it will be, it won't be area 1 because it's pretty powerful as it is. And then we have Dwellers Below, which we've seen before I believe, and this is your direct damage spell, similar to the runes from the dwarves for example. It's actually also decreases the speed of the units, which is very nice, and this is large explosion area, and causes severe damage to combatants, but it costs a lot. And the effective range of this explosion area is actually 30 meters, which is pretty substantial indeed. Then we have Skin of the Woods. This is your basic ability that this general have, but look at that closely. It actually gives a ward save of 20% for 3 kin units in the Lord's army. So if you are playing Durtu, you will have a lot of 3 kin units, and having a ward save 20% on them is pretty big. And focus on that skill. That's very important. Skewering Branches is the other one, and it's actually giving flat plus 10 armor piercing damage to the 3 kin units. However, considering they probably already deal like 90, it's nice to have, but not a game changer, not like with the ward save. But still, obviously, you should have it. This is what I wanted to show you when I was showing you the Orion. You actually can have the same buff that you have on Orion on this guy at level 6, and you have to only spend 2 points in those skills. Plus 12% damage to all allies in the area of 45 meters around this guy, around the Waystalker. So yeah, a must-have, absolute must-have. Yes, you might want to have it both on Orion and the Waystalker because 45 meters will not cover every of your units. It will make the micromanagement simpler, but still. On the 3rd level of your main building you have additional 5 growth, so it's not something great, additional 20 income. Quite substantial garrison, as you can see again, but yeah, nothing game changing here. Oak of Ages at the very end, as you can see. We didn't know how much this building of this cost. Now we know it's 10 and 5 and 10 amber. So 5 and 10 amber is actually pretty substantial, and you won't be able to build it at the very beginning of the game. But giving you that each next level is giving us minus 5% of upkeep, and the 3rd level enables us Confederacy from the other Wood Elf factions. It seems that this is something we should invest at some point. And this is all for screenshots, and this is all for the information I've gotten from the stream. And I will be probably releasing another information about the other stuff that Creative Assembly has reported in last week, but I would expect the next video will be actually covering a battle that they told us that the next Twitch stream, whenever it will be, probably tomorrow or on Friday, will actually contain a battle between the Wood Elves, and I will be there, I will be watching it, and I will be analyzing the hell out of it. Thank you for watching, hope you like it. If you did, press like, comment if you will, and see my other videos, my mechanics videos and DLC speculation analysis videos for Total War Warhammer, but also my Let's Plays in Total War series and other games. Thank you for watching, and see you later.